literally started this process at 7:30 of turning on my computer.
Maybe it's time to get a new computer.
It probably is, but I ain't got money. I have a wedding.
Steal it. You are listening to Chicagoland's finest podcast. The all-new Culture Cast begins now. I'm Nick.
And I'm Cousin Charles.
And this is the all-new Culture Cast, and we're back for a brand new episode in which we talk about this year's CW Arrowverse crossover, Elseworlds.
Yep, we did it last year, and we're back again, round 2.
And inevitably we'll be back again for round 3 next year, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. So, cause I think I'm going to, just so we could jump into this, because there's lots to talk about, I think we'll avoid our normal topics, but this week, for those of you who are listening, we've been suffering from a polar vortex up here in the Chicagoland area, and you're down in Missouri. Are you guys suffering from the polar vortex down there too?
Yes, we are surviving the polar vortex as well. I think it got down to, -5 at one point during the night.
Ooh, so -5. How treacherous for you.
So we're on the outskirts. Nick, you are actually in the you're in the thick of it.
Yes. You know, it just reminds me, I left the dog out this morning. He hasn't been in. Hopefully he's okay.
He stopped barking a while back.
Yeah, we are. It's cold. It got down to the -20s somewhere. I think -27, but the wind chill is like in the -50s. So yeah, that's fun.
Well, if you want to hear something funny, I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like in Chicago, but this just goes to show you how crazy at least it gets in Missouri. So I said the low that they recorded here was like -5. It may have been actually like -12.
Oh, so now you're trying to change it to be cool like us Chicago folks.
I'm just trying to get to those deep negative numbers. But on Sunday, on this upcoming Sunday, they're telling us it's supposed to be 60 degrees.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like in the 40s up here, so it's like a significant difference within a couple of days. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like really weird. It's really like freaky weather that's going on right now. So
I blame the weather wizard. As long as the skies don't turn red, we'll be okay. And for those of you who don't know what's going on, those were DC references that will be played into during the course of tonight's episode. But so
we've been actually I forgot to ask if the checks cleared from Warner Brothers.
Yeah. One more check's coming through. We get one check per show.
Yes.
That's why they didn't do Legends this year, because they didn't want to give us an extra check.
Damn it.
That's the sole reason. Speaking of superhero stuff, have you listened to? I posted a few weeks back the Earthman play that we recorded like 3 years ago, and I finally got a chance to edit it. So that's a no.
I completely missed that in my feed. I am so sorry.
I think I tagged you in it when I posted. Well, not important. It's there. You should check it out.
Check it out. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, most people did. But as I was telling the Gorehound, it was actually fun to edit when I had time to edit. I'd love to do something like this. We'll see. I got tons of ideas.
Come back for the sequel in 20 years.
Yeah, right. That's the way things are done now. So,
exactly.
But anyway, let's jump into this. So we're in the CW. This is technically the
5th.
I thought 6th. Isn't it the 6th? Wait, no. 5th. You are right. 5th, because Flash is in its 5th year. That's right. So I get confused. I always think Flash started in Arrow's 2nd year, but it didn't. It started in its 3rd year. But
3rd year, yeah.
But yeah, it's the 5th crossover, and in some ways it was more ambitious than all the other ones, but in other ways it was much more smaller focus than other ones, particularly in compared to last year's mega crossover.
I definitely agree with that sentiment. I actually rewatched the episodes before we did the recording of this, because this premiered, I think, back in October. Was it like October?
Late November, I think. Late
Late
November,
November.
right around
Okay.
Thanksgiving. Well, no, it was actually in December because it was the last episode before they went on their break.
Right. The crossover is always like the one before they go to the, tune in, after the holidays. Or it's like the one before
actually,
the
it's usually the one.
mid-season.
Usually, it's the one before, and then they have the mid-season. This was the first time I think that because usually the mid-season episode is somehow connected to their main story arc.
Right, and the crossover is more or less a break from what's happening with our character's main story, which I will say this, I generally have tried keeping like a running tab of all 4 shows, even if I haven't watched them. Like I try to get an idea of what's going on. I'll be honest, I think the past 2 years I've kind of fallen behind a little bit on this because
it's tough to keep up with, and they just want to add more and more series. Like we'll talk about this, I'm sure, later on. But they want to add a Batwoman show next year, and we'll see if that gets picked up. Nothing's been announced, but
no, I think it actually has been.
Has it? Okay, I heard there was renewals for shows, which. To follow up from our Legends of Tomorrow episode a couple of months back, but I thought Legends was going to be canceled this year because the ratings on it have been atrocious, but it got a pickup. So,
well, that's one other thing I do want to mention because Legends is like my little, that's my baby. That's like I want to see it succeed. Like I'm watching it, stumble, I watch it stumble as first couple steps. Now it's really getting going. For some reason, well, I shouldn't say for some reason. I know the exact reason because of scheduling. So all 4 of the main DC shows kind of have aired around the same time, and they all went on break around the same time.
Right.
Now, Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl are all back, I believe. But Legends isn't coming back until April.
Yeah, I think that's a scheduling thing. And Black Lightning's back as well, which is a DC show, but it's as of now has no connection to the Arrowverse, as they call it.
Right. But that's my little tangent. But yeah, definitely. I don't know. Definitely, it's growing, and this is. I think the one thing I will say, I think it was smart for them to pull back a little bit, even though I hate that they discount Legends, out of this crossover.
Right.
I think it was smart for them to kind of like, okay, let's streamline it. Because when you have like all those characters, then you go, well, why wasn't that character included? Like, why weren't they there?
Which I think was. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I would say that was, I think, a problem they had last year because last year it centered on the wedding. It kicked off with the wedding of Barry and Iris, and it's bizarre the people they invited to the wedding versus the people they didn't invite. Like, it's weird that Ray wasn't invited to the wedding, but Rory was. That was very strange, and that Rory would want to go to that. Well, I guess alcohol, he's down for it. But which I know it's scheduling. They don't have the money to pay all the actors to be in all the episodes. It was kind of weird, like why certain characters weren't there, and then like the Supergirl show usually gets the shaft because it's on a parallel world. It's a lot of their cast members don't come over unless they do through some bizarre set of circumstances. But this year,
oh no, you go.
I was
sorry.
I was about to say I think they integrated them a little bit better when it came time to Supergirl's role, but yeah.
I was gonna say, kind of pick it up where you left off. I was gonna say, and this year was no exception because, I mean, the one thing I will say, they actually did use the CW Superman. I don't know what the guy. I forget what the guy's name is. Like,
Taylor Holtzman. Holtzman.
I thought it was Hoochman, like Turner Hooch.
It might be. I don't know. He's going to be at C2E2, the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo. So if I see him there, I'll ask him, like, yo, Supergirl, Superman, how do you pronounce your last name? Let me know.
Yeah.
And tell me, why are you never clean shaven? What's with the constant 5 o'clock shadow?
It's the look. It's a lifestyle.
Hey, I just know that he's a better Superman than Henry Cavill.
Oh yeah, no, he is. I will say this: he is an absolute treat as Superman. Like, oh, it's refreshing to actually see Superman.
He's happy and smiles and enjoys being Superman. What a novel concept. Which I can't blame Henry Cavill. He's fine. He just has been gotten really bad writing.
Yeah, he really just kind of got Cavill. You just got the short end of the stick, buddy. Because you had somebody writing Superman who probably did not really like Superman.
What if Superman was like Batman? And what if Batman
was Jesus Christ?
was like Judge Dredd? Wouldn't it be cool? No, it would not be cool. But then we'll make them all jokey.
Yeah. And then what if Wonder Woman shows up?
Shut up, Warner Brothers. You're drunk. Go home. Anyway, we digress. But so they utilized Superman pretty good. They gave him a lot of screen time overall. It was fun in the first of the 3 episodes, seeing Flash, Green Arrow, Supergirl, the Superman, and was Vibe there? I can't remember. Fight the robot.
Cisco kind of shows up right there at the end. But apparently, I think this just goes to show you how much I'm paying attention to the Flash. I think they mentioned some line of Cisco. His powers are kind of on the fritz. Which I was like,
I couldn't remember if that happened before or after this episode.
Somewhere along the lines, his powers are, but no, I will. Because I don't know how we want to kind of do this. Because as you said, there is a lot to talk about.
I should have wrote an outline. Before we go any further, let's give a little summary of what the 3-episode crossover Elseworlds was about. Do you want to do this, or do you want me to do it?
Oh, I'd be more than honored to do it. So,
all right, keep it brief, as brief as you can. There's a lot of stuff that goes on.
Okay, yeah. So, do you want me to do like episode by episode, or just the general?
I got an idea. Let's just do it episode by episode, and we'll talk about each one individually, and then that way we're not going all over the place. So, the first one was.
First one was part 1 was the Flash. The episode like I said, so we are introduced to the Arkham Asylum doctor, John Deegan, who is... No, wait, actually, before that, we're shown an apocalyptic scene on Earth 90.
Okay, when I said brief, I don't mean like scene by
synopsis.
Scene. Just like, what?
Okay.
What's the gist?
Well, the gist of this episode is...
And then in this minute, Iris looked at him with the eyes, and she looked back and forth, and you
it was in that moment.
her anger. No, just the general gist.
Okay, the general gist is Barry Allen and Oliver Queen, as they've mentioned many times in this crossover, have done a quantum leap where they have switched lives. Everyone from their respective circles thinks that they're each other. So Barry Allen is the Green Arrow, and Oliver Queen is the Flash. To resolve this Freaky Friday situation, they decide to actually give a justifiable reason as to why we're including Supergirl, and decide, well, if everyone on Earth thinks that we're each other, let's go to another Earth. Mm-hmm. So,
and those her Earth is immune from the changes because she sees Barry as Barry and Oliver as Oliver.
Yes. Which is good that she recognized to them, because a crisis is starting on Earth 1 with the Ivo robot Amazo.
Yeah, so they all get together to take down this robot. So did Deegan make the robot? I know the robot was already happening, but did Deegan have any part in that?
No, I think
or was it just something just happened that caused it to go bizarro?
No. What happens is when Oliver Flash is kind of basically trying to do like a Flash action scene, he inadvertently powers up the robot.
Oh, okay.
So no, Amazo's whole destruction thing was unrelated to to John Deegan's plan.
Okay. So that just gave him an action scene for the Flash episode.
Exactly.
Okay.
Which I think was because each episode kind of ends with a big sort of superhero action scene. I think that one was probably my favorite, just because of all the things that they were kind of doing, which they haven't done really before on the show. So that's my seal of approval.
So
do you want? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to pick up where you left off there. So They fight the robot, and one of the weird things about this episode was that they first go and visit the Team Flash because they do all the sciencey stuff. They might be able to figure it out. And despite the fact that Team Flash has dealt with a lot of weird stuff over the past 5 years, the fact that they say we've been body swapped, they don't believe them, like not even for an instant, and that just seemed very, very strange.
Yeah, and I will say they kind of, I don't want to say sort of reference that, but they pretty much do the same thing with Team Arrow. And
Sure.
even, like, Diggle mentions, mentions Egyptian demigods, Nazis. You think I would have seen it all, but there's always something new. It's like, okay. But still, yeah, no, I had to agree. Like, why aren't you believing them? They have no reason to lie to you.
Yeah, that was very bizarre. But it sets up and it kind of sets up their dilemma. And unlike last year's crossover where it was like one big story, like this is one big story as well, but like it's each episode is very specific at what they do. It's like it tells like a complete story-ish that leads to the next piece. It's very similar to the audio play that we did that everyone should listen to, Earthman Adventures, where each chapter has its own little story, but it contributes to the larger whole. Which I guess they intentionally did that this year because probably to save on costs and commission and everything else. So one thing that happens when they go and visit Supergirl's Earth, the minute they go in the portal, they play the Smallville theme.
Yes.
And I have mixed feelings about that.
Yeah, because you were more of a Smallville. Smallville's more of your. I don't want to say
my
time,
jam.
but
That's my jam. I watched that show for 10 years. 10 long years now. The show had its problems, don't get me wrong, but I look back on it fondly. I'm not going to lie, seeing that theme on a CW show again definitely, as the internet says, brought back the feels. But what was weird about it is like, I don't know why they used that theme, other than that they were on the same set, the same barn that they used in Smallville, they used as the same barn in Supergirl. But if they went to the Smallville universe for some whatever reason for a crossover, I would get it. But it's just sort of like they just threw it out there, and like I don't know. It'd be like as if they went to a portal to Smallville and they played the Man of Steel theme. Like, sure, it's Superman, but why? It was just a weird thing that they decided to.
Well, I think that kind of contributes to a lot of what this crossover was, which was very It felt the big theme I felt through the whole 3 parts of this is that it's very self-referential. Like, this is very much like, okay,
True.
This is our fifth crossover. We're going to get into the inside jokes. I think during when they have to take when Team Flash has basically take down Barry and Oliver because they think they're crazy, they use the one phrase that's been kind of memed a lot, which is nanites courtesy of Ray Palmer. I don't know why, but I've seen it a lot. But I think that popped up on a couple of the Arrowverse feeds I watch.
I don't follow any of that.
You don't follow the Reddits?
The Reddits. I don't follow the Reddits or the Tinders or the what's that you're on, Grindr?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Everyone does. So yeah, I don't follow any of that because I'm not a dork.
Damn,
sorry.
that hurts. Words hurt, Nick.
I know. That's why I say them. But anyway, what were you talking about now? I forgot.
We were talking about just the fact that they used the Smallville theme and the Smallville set, but didn't really include anything else Smallville-esque, except just as like window dressing.
Like, I don't mind they use the Smallville set. It makes sense. I mean, it's there. They probably have the CW probably has a deal with those people, so they'd be fine. Yeah, come on. But it was just the music was just so bizarre that they would. But whatever.
Well, do you want to hear something that's like really funny? So,
yes.
And this so besides the Arrowverse shows. The other CW program that both me and my future wife, Megan, watch obsessively is Riverdale.
Yep.
Now, a lot of shit has happened in Season 3.
Don't spoil it. I haven't seen anything in Season 3 yet.
No, I'm not going to spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not. There is a sequence that takes place during Season 3 where Archie and Jughead are on the road,
So
and
Archie gets out of jail, huh? Thanks. Spoiler.
why didn't well people may not know that he even went to jail. Well, thanks a lot. No, but there's a sequence where they have to like hang out at a farm, and it took me a second because but they reused the Smallville farm set for the for this whole little farm sequence. It doesn't really matter like in that whole story. Like it's very self-contained. Like it all happens in one episode.
Uh-huh.
But I think they were like, hey, we got this farm rented out for the week. Do you guys over here at Riverdale want to use it for something? Like,
yeah,
it's very bizarre when you realize that it's like, holy crap, we're on the Kent farm for no other reason than we're just on the Kent farm, or we had this place booked out. We might as well get our money's worth.
You're probably right on that one, just because. I mean, if they got it, they might as well use it as much as they can. So
yeah, what other shows does CW have that they can shell out the Kent family farm for?
Charmed or
Dynasty, I think. Didn't they?
Is that still on? I don't even know. I don't even see previews for that anymore.
I don't know. I knew they rebooted it, but I'm assuming they got to make room for another DC show.
Well, yeah, now that they're having like 100 of them now. But let's see. I'm looking up Dynasty now. Huh. I guess the show is still going on. How about that? Anyway,
good for them.
So we so what else do we also met Lois Lane in this episode.
Yes, so we now have there's a Lois Lane that now runs around the CW Arrowverse, which I don't know what she's been in, but it's kind of like my same feelings with the CW Superman. I like their Lois Lane. Yeah.
I got no problems with her. I think she's good. But we also have Lucy Lane, who appeared in the first season of Smallville, played by Channing Tatum's ex-wife. So I wonder if those two will ever team up, even though they look nothing alike, like they don't even look related. But there's that.
I will say going back to your point of like why they use a Smallville theme and set, like they hadn't cast a Lois Lane. I don't remember the actress's name who actually played Lois Lane in Smallville, but
Erica
it's like
Dunritz.
The fact that you know that astonishes me.
I watched 10 years of Smallville. She also played Supergirl's mom last season on Supergirl.
Okay. Well, then I'm just gonna throw my entire point out. I was gonna say, why not have her reprise her role as Lois Lane?
Okay, there's a couple of things about that. I don't know if you're being serious or joking around, but these are the same people who are like, you need Tom Welling to play Superman on Supergirl. Why don't you get Tom Welling to come back to play Superman? One, Tom Welling's not going to want to do that. Two, it's not Smallville. It's its own show. Smallville introduced its own Supergirl. They're not going to get Tom Welling back to play Superman. They're going to want to do their own version of the character, and they're going to want to put their own spin on it and not have it played by someone who's played Superman in the past. So I think that's the same reason why I didn't get the actress who played Lois Lane to replay Lois Lane.
Fair enough. But
I'm sorry, I really hate the internet sometimes, and like everyone's like, they should put fans in charge. We have such good ideas. No, they don't.
No. I don't know if the fallout from The Last Jedi has taught me anything. It's people don't know what they want.
No, they don't.
No, but just kind of going back to this episode overall, I really liked. It was very funny. I did like that. Especially Oliver and Barry had a really good, and even Kara once she got introduced in the mix, they had some really good jokes, which I guess is is like, well, yeah, it's a superhero show. Of course, it's going to have some jokes, but it's like, I don't know. I really thought they were funny. I thought that they really, again, going to the fact that it's very self-referential, very kind of meta in some ways. Just the fact that this is the fifth crossover. I really liked what they were doing. I liked kind of watching the actors sort of work off each other, like when Kara did her Oliver Queen impression. It was quite adorable.
I liked a lot of the humor, but I think a lot of the humor fell flat in that, I felt like Oliver and Barry both acted kind of like they put they drank idiot juice to be like, oh, I don't know how to fire an arrow, so I'm gonna be all clumsy with it. Or like Oliver's like, oh no, I'm shaking too much. I don't know how to stop this. I mean, I get that it was part of them getting used to each other's personalities or whatnot.
Mhm.
But it just, I don't know, it fell flat. And some of the logic behind their powers, like they swap bodies, but suddenly Barry has the ability to be an expert archer and fighter. No.
But not even that. He's only like kind of because he's still like Barry as the Green Arrow gets his ass. Like, I think he gets his ass kicked at least a couple times, where he's like, I don't know what I'm doing, kind of thing.
Well,
And
I guess like the first scene that sticks in my mind where he's like sparring with Diggle and he like like flips Diggle over with like not a problem and it's like, oh, I'm the Green Arrow, and Diggle's like, yeah, you sure are. I don't know, just some of that seemed a little odd. And one other thing, just since I'm on this train, I'm just gonna take it to the station. One thing that annoyed me was, and I didn't quite buy into it, is like, oh, to be the Green Arrow, you have to be dark and depressive. That's how you're going to become good Green Arrow. And to be the
yeah,
Flash, you have to be happy. No, no.
I feel I feel like over the course of the past several years they've got. Oh, Nick, you
Sorry,
still there?
yeah, I was coughing.
Oh,
This
sorry.
is this is how professional we are. I just like gag right into the microphone.
Yeah, I'm gonna hack up a lung in about 5 minutes. No, I feel like over the past couple of years, especially in these crossovers, because they always try to have these moments where it's like, where the two of them, because again, they're supposed to be like polar opposite characters, and they try. I think every one of these crossovers have some sort of conversation where they talk about what it means to be the other hero, and I feel like they've always go back and forth. They're like, I think I remember from the first crossover, Barry's like, "Hey man, you don't have to be dark and scary all the time. You can be light and fun," and then it seems like the show doesn't really know what it wants the Green Arrow to be, whether it's dark and brooding or maybe be a little bit light and cheerful. So that's the one thing. It's always kind of. I think it's just one of those things that I always expect with these crossovers. There's always going to be some conversation about what it means to be the hero,
Right.
And it's like, look, just make up. It's been 5 years, people. Just make up your mind.
Yeah, that is can be a little annoying there. So.
Overall, I really liked part one of the Elseworlds crossover. I think it was very much. I would probably say it's probably the second favorite one of the three. Which again, it's not really hard to make, but I still really enjoyed it, and just kind of especially because I hadn't been following what had been happening in the Arrowverse. I liked how. Again, it was very much its own sort of self-contained thing, so I don't know that Oliver was in prison for reasons, or that the Flash has a super-powered serial killer after him. Don't need to know that. Just get to enjoy this little quantum leap style adventure. So,
So let's go on to part two, and I want to do the part two one, which
we open on a scene of no, just
I'm going to find you and destroy you in your sleep. In part two, they discover that they need to go to Gotham City for some reason, and to find out. Because they figure out who swapped them, this professor guy, and they realize,
right.
he's in Gotham City, so let's go to Gotham City. And when they're there, they're automatically put to jail because they recognize Barry / Oliver as Green Arrow, and they're like, we don't want that in our city. And Batwoman, played by Ruby Rose, bails them out for reasons, and they end up going to Arkham Asylum to track down this guy who knows what's going on and says, nope, I'm going to keep you like this. And a fight breaks out in all the Arkham Asylum criminals. Batwoman shows up, helps them beat up all the criminals, and they say, get out of my town, and they're like, alright, we will. And the bad guy runs off with his special book that the mysterious monitor gave him, and changes reality once again. And so that's the part two, what happens in there. So what did you think? You said part two. What did you think of part two?
I think part two probably was, out of all three parts of this crossover, Part 2, I think, probably was my favorite. I mean, the biggest reason, of course, is going to be it. I mean, I know it's going to be kind of simple and just like, ooh, like, of course it is. But I like that we're finally introducing Gotham into the Arrowverse.
Mm-hmm.
I like that this episode pretty much serves as kind of a backdoor pilot for a Batwoman series, which again, I think a couple weeks back they did say, yeah, we're going to go ahead with this. It introduced a lot of new things to this whole sort of superhero world. I really enjoyed it a lot for a lot of things they carried over from the first part, which again was the humor and the sort of humor and I guess camaraderie, or kind of like the way that our main trio sort of works off each other. And yeah, there's a lot to like. There's some things that are kind of more minor annoyances in the grand scheme of these 3 episodes, but part 2 definitely was probably my favorite.
I will say I like part 2 a lot too. I liked Oliver's whining. I was the first vigilante, not Batman. Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny. It's now that I think the TV show Gotham is wrapping up, I think the CW feels, or maybe they were given the license to, and we could talk about this momentarily, to introduce more Batman-related items into the show. It's weird. The TV rights for Batman are very complicated. I don't know how much you know about this, but 20th Century Fox actually owns the TV rights to Batman, not the TV live action rights to Batman, not Warner Brothers. And that has to do with the Adam West television series, because that aired on, I don't know what network it aired on, but 20th Century Fox was actually the production company that made that show. So they have the rights to the Batman character live action on television screens, which is one of the reasons why it took so long for the Adam West Batman show to come out on DVD, is because there were a lot of rights issues between Warner Brothers and Fox. So it's also why Gotham is on Fox and not the CW.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a lot of rights wrangling. So you get a lot of nerds online saying, well, they need to make a Batman show. How come they don't make a Batman show? Duh. Why don't they make a Batman show? It's because they don't want to. Because they can't. I'm sure they would make a Batman show in a heartbeat if they could, but they can't.
Some might argue they tried with season 1 of Arrow.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Batman stuff they incorporate into Arrow. Definitely, its first season heavily inspired by the Nolan movies, but they would, if CW or said right now, hey, do you guys ever think about making a Batman show? They would jump on that like nobody's business, because Batman sells.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like you can't go. I mean, you walk into any toy store or comic book shop, you can't go 5 feet without seeing some sort of some sort of memorabilia related to Batman. And I'll be honest, I know this is an audio podcast, so the people at home can't see our faces, but I had no idea actually about any of that. I knew that there was a weird relationship between Warner Brothers Television and the the DC Television, DC movies, where it's DC TV, you can use most of the characters, but we're going to keep some of the characters. Where it's on Arrow, in season 1 they had the Suicide Squad and Amanda Waller, but then we got a movie coming up. Sorry, we need those characters back. So
I think that is overly misreported, because people say, oh, they killed Waller off because they needed for the movie. When I've read interviews with the production staff who said, no, we actually were wanting to do that anyway. It was a creative decision. It had nothing to do with the movie coming out. So I don't know. I believe who you want to believe, I guess.
Right, but because it was I remember when they announced Supergirl season 2, it was we're gonna have Superman, and everyone's like, oh my god, there's gonna be 2 Supermans, or finally a Superman on TV. And I think right around that time, that's when Dawn of Justice came out, either before season 2 of Supergirl or after. I can't remember when, but I mean, spoilers if you haven't seen that turd of a movie. Superman actually dies in that one. but
Well,
he
the
get
plan was always to bring him back in Justice League. If people
yeah,
actually, this is like, I just recently watched Infinity War. Not to go off topic, but people are like, because they also recently released the trailer for the new Spider-Man movie, and they're like, I can't believe they're releasing the trailer. They're totally spoiling the next Avengers movie, saying that Spider-Man comes back. Well, yeah, no shit. They're not going to let the most popular Marvel character die, and not. We're just gonna make one movie. We don't want to make any more.
yeah,
We're good. Yeah, of course he's going to come back. All those characters that died in Infinity War are going to come back. They killed Black Panther, which is the highest grossing single superhero movie ever.
yeah.
They're not going to like kill off that cash cow. Like, well, we're
The,
not going to make any more. No. Uh,
Black Panther 2. We're just going to follow Shuri from now on.
yeah, yeah.
No, yeah, no. When I was in the theater and everybody online, I mean, yeah, I'll wrap this up on that point. But when I saw people like freak out, like, all these heroes, it's like they're gonna be fine. You do realize in comic books, death is just more of a transitional state than a permanent status, except for certain key characters. But I think they're going to get better. Uh,
You don't know
but
that. Yeah, I mean
yeah,
that stuff just annoys me. It's like, I guess not so much like fans, because moviegoers, because maybe they're not a comic book fan, they don't know how that stuff works. But I'm talking about like movie websites. Like I follow Bleeding Cool, and I swear to God, the writers there are the biggest. Either they're intentionally obtuse, or they're just terrible at their job, because they'd be like, oh, how are they going to explain this? It's like, because they're not going to kill Spider-Man. Don't be stupid.
look, they've established that there are magic rocks that can change reality, or maybe they get the book from the Elseworlds special. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right. But anyway, let's go back to Elseworlds.
Yeah,
I don't remember what we were talking about.
we were talking about originally the live action Batman
Oh,
thing.
yeah. So I think now that Gotham's ending, I think they're feeling more like we can actually do a legit Batman show. Well, Batwoman show. They skirt around the issues.
I was going to say, so I guess those live action rights, did that just only apply to Batman himself?
That's a great question. As
Yeah,
far as I know, it did, because the Arrow they've used a lot of Batman characters in
like Arrow villains. Yeah,
yeah,
but
and so
like they're not like big Batman villains, but like your C and your D list like villains. Like we're going to use them we're going to have Oliver Queen fight them. Like I
right,
remember that watching season 1 was definitely like, okay, that's a Batman villain. That's a Batman villain.
right. So I mean, I don't know what that extends to. I know there were cameos. Well, not cameos, but when they're in Arkham, they had like you walk by prison cells, and they had like,
I think one I agreed with was like Enigma. I think there might
yeah,
have been one that said like
there's
P Cobblepot.
yeah, there was like yeah, I remember those two. They had like they clear references to Batman villains. So um, I don't know if they plan on showing up in the Batgirl show, but I mean that's we'll find out I guess in the future. But
It'd be
um,
cool.
yeah, it'd be hopefully they don't do it right away, as tempting as it might be, because the Kiwi and I we like Gotham a lot. I mean it's insane, it's crazy. But we the crazier it gets, the better it gets. But like, and they have a really good version of the Riddler. They have a really good version of the Penguin. I hate to see those characters recast so quickly, but I don't know. We'll find out as things go on.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'll probably when Gotham's eventually the full series on Netflix, I'll probably just get a couple weekends and just binge through that because every time you've talked about Gotham, it's basically sound like how I talk about Riverdale. It just like
Oh,
it's so stupid and crazy that you kind of love it. But the big thing I want to say related to kind of like all the Batman stuff and kind of to this whole part 2, especially if they're going to get like do a Batwoman series, I'm really surprised that they got Ruby Rose to
yeah,
be Batwoman because she's like someone who like even non like people like us would like recognize like Megan knows who Ruby Rose is. She's been in a couple of big movies recently. I mean, as side characters, but like still, I'm like, how the hell did she like lose a bet or?
well, let's talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up. Full disclosure, I am not a Ruby Rose fan. I don't think she's particularly hang on here. Okay, I don't think that she's a particularly good actress. And more on that is that I think she is an awful human being. For some of her personal antics, like a couple years ago, I don't know if you remember hearing about this. She was in some restaurant and she berated like the wait staff by throwing food at them, and I think was kicked out. And then she tried to claim later on, like they kicked me out because I was a lesbian and they're homophobic. And the restaurant released like footage, like no, that's not true. And then she changed her story by saying they kept mocking me because I was a recovering alcoholic because they wanted to give me a free drink. And they said no, we did offer drinks as compensation for the long wait, but we didn't know she was a recovering alcoholic, and she didn't actually have to have like an alcoholic beverage. Like it was like she came off like she went on social media trying to be like, oh, woe is me, but it really backfired on her.
Right.
And so like from there, it's like, oh, you're a disgusting human being. Because there are real injustices where people are ridiculed and what do you call it? Not mocked. Yeah, attacked for their lifestyles, and like it makes people when you make stuff up like that, or you mock the situation, or not mock. I don't know the right term is.
Take advantage.
Yeah.
Take advantage of, or like try to use like basically be like, well, I'm the real victim here.
Right. It lessens.
You're devaluing it for everyone else.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that irritates me no end. But I'm not gonna lie, when I heard they cast Ruby Rose, I was kind of like you, I was surprised. Oh, that's like the biggest name they've gotten so far in one of these CW shows. But the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, is she that big of a star, or has she just gotten lucky with some bigger named projects? Because she was in Orange Is the New Black, and she has had a couple supporting roles in a few movies here and there. But she's not really like an A. No one's going to go to, hey, let's go see the new Ruby Rose movie.
No, and I'm not. And I guess I'm not trying to say that at all. Like but she is like a. I guess she's more noteworthy. Where it's like, oh wow, she's actually like. Where it's more like, okay, you hear that two actors who are side characters in Glee are cast in superhero shows. Like, okay, who cares? But it's like she's actually like, a name that I think a lot of more people would recognize. Where you go like, wow, how did you get involved with all this? I think that's more surprising because I don't one, I did not know anything about that. I'm not any sort of Ruby Rose fan. I did like her as Kate Kane.
Well, yeah,
I will say that.
I will agree with you there. But the more I thought about her casting, I'm like, if you're going to cast a Batwoman from what little I know about her from the comics, it's good casting. Like you nail on head.
Yeah,
or
like
hammer on nail, however that goes.
We got the gist, Nick. We're good. No, but that's what I would say. Just it's very surprising, just because it feels. I don't want to say it feels like a downgrade, but it's like very much like. Again, she was involved. I know she was involved with the Meg this past summer, which was a surprise, like sleeper hit. She was in John Wick 2, where
in the memorable role of the mute assassin.
Exactly, she didn't have to talk.
Looks like Justin,
talk, so it worked.
The memorable role of assassin Justin Bieber.
And I think she was in the reboot of the trip of when Vin Diesel was like, "Hey, remember I was Triple X."
So movies that no one really cares about. I mean,
John Wick 2 was good. I mean, I would say a lot of people care, but I think more of the point, just like this is like compared to the other people that are cast in these CW shows. She's someone I would say she's more on the path of like a rising star. It just felt kind of weird. Like, how did she get sucked up in this? But and we can talk about this all day.
We might just have to agree to disagree about the star power of Ruby Rose. I will say she's more known compared to say Grant Gustin or Stephen Amell. But where was I going with? I mean, I don't know. I guess the CW's gotten bigger names before. Like Victor Garber's kind of a big name, been in movies and TV shows for years. Brandon Routh, people know him because of Superman and whatnot. So, I don't know. I guess the thing is, it's not like they were offering her a role like, here, you could be the sidekick. Like, the main character, so I could see that being
A
a
draw.
draw, especially with the LGBT aspect of Batwoman.
Hmm.
So I liked her. I mean, I when I first heard they wanted to do a Batwoman show, I was like, I got nothing against the character, but I'm like, what are they going to possibly do? And if the episode that we saw was any indication how the Batwoman show is going to be, I can get behind it. I mean, I'm like, okay, I'm sold on concept. So
Yeah, she's trying to take over the mantle of Batman. I'm like, hey, it worked for Arrow. It could work again. I
now,
will say I do like the costume. Like the costume actually is probably one of the
yes,
better. Like it looks exactly how it's depicted in the comics. Like there's no like.
no, because Batgirl wears black boots. I'm sorry, red boots, and she has red gloves. And this version does not have any of that. It's the wrong shade of red, and so this is why that show is going to be a complete failure. Yeah,
Nerd.
I'm going to go on the internet and complain. No, I agree with you. I think uh, with maybe the exception of the Supergirl costume, out of the gate they nailed the Batgirl. I'm sorry, I keep calling Batgirl, Batwoman. Uh, the Batwoman costume. They did an excellent job with that. Thumbs up, show. Thumbs up.
Yeah, no. And yeah, I guess what else? I mean, that's the big thing about part two that definitely got it for me was just Batwoman herself, because it's pretty much like, hey, are people interested in seeing a Batwoman TV show? Here it is, pretty much.
Come back next fall and find out.
Exactly.
Same Arrow time, same Arrow channel. Here's my question. Because when they first announced the crossover, like, oh, this is going to have a new crossover, the first thing they announced was, we're going to introduce Batwoman. She's going to be a big part of the crossover. And they kept pumping and hyping up for Batwoman, Batwoman, Batwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Were you disappointed how little of a role Batwoman actually had in this 3-part episode?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like they really kind of played it up as it's going to be the Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and Batwoman's trying to save the world or something like that. But they really sort of upsold it as to what this is going to be. Like I was thinking, like whatever sort of thing they face in the final, oh, Batwoman's going to show up and she's going to do some cool gadgets and stuff like that. But we didn't get any of that. She's like, again, she only shows up in costume, I think, once when she's looking out over on a Chicago skyscraper, which I will say that's a cool detail that they did do some filming in. At least got some aerial shots of Chicago, which I'm like,
got some B footage of Chi-Town.
Exactly. It's like, okay, respect.
Even though the whole show is going to be filmed in Canada because it's cheaper to film up there.
Hey.
Well, Supergirl does the same thing because they have shots of I don't know if it's L.A. or somewhere on the West Coast there, but the first season they filmed there. They just kept the aerial shots.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I think because season 1 I think was because it was actually on CBS. They were like,
season 1 was a real show.
Yeah, season 2. Well, I like their explanation at the beginning of Supergirl season 2, where it's like, we're moving to a new base, aka we can't afford our old set, like our kick-ass mountain hideout. Nah, that's gone. We're in an office building now.
They just kind of hand wave like, you've had this the whole time? Yeah, we didn't say anything to you about that.
Yeah, we really didn't think ahead. That we really, but I digress. But yeah, no. Where did we go? We were talking about Chicago.
Yeah, this is how how they sold up Supergirl.
Yeah.
God, how they sold up Batwoman, and she really didn't make much of an appearance. I'm guessing they used the aerial shots of Chicago to connect back to the Nolan, because everyone knows the Nolan movies were shot in Chicago. That's Gotham City. So
there was one because I know these shows are full of references, but there's one where I kind of did a little bit of an eye roll on rewatching it, where I think when our trio of heroes gets arrested by the Gotham City PD, they're like, we need backup at Nolan and Burden. I repeat, Nolan and Burden.
Oh, like, I didn't catch that.
Oh, I caught that. I was like, oh, Jesus. Like, I remember they did on Robot Chicken, they did a spoof of that, where they did like a spoof of all the CW shows. Mm-hmm. And there was literally a bit where they have like Cisco saying, hey, there's a bank robbery at like Jim Lee and Jeff Johns Boulevard. And I was like, they're doing the exact same thing.
They've done that on the Flash and Arrow before, where they would like reference, we gotta go to Adams Street, like writers and artists who have worked on the show.
Right, and I know they've done that before, but that was like more the, do you get it? Do you get it? It's Batman.
They should have gone like all in. It's like, but don't take Schumacher away. That road just all messed up.
Yeah. and and Snyder Boulevard is full of shit. No, but yeah, definitely. Like I said, I do wish that she was more involved, or at least after because she really, you only have one like action scene of her as Batwoman, and that's like her just like, I'm gonna battering one guy, and then battering one guy, and then like pulling another one and be like, get out of Gotham.
I did like how she wanted nothing to do with Arrow or Flash. Like, just leave. Just.
Well, and the one thing I will say before we get into part 3 of this, and this is the one thing. So going into the crossover, in my head, so in season 2 of Supergirl, they introduced that that the CW Superman is actually, has sort of like a frenemy relationship with Batman. Like there is a Batman, there's a Gotham City.
They haven't outright said it was Batman, but they heavily imply that Batman exists in Supergirl's world.
Right, that there is a Batman in Supergirl's world. So I thought when they were going to be, okay, this is an Elseworlds thing, I was thinking, oh, well, so I guess, and again, in the Arrowverse, on Earth 1, they give some hints, like, I think, mentioning Gotham, I think.
They mentioned Bruce Wayne, name-dropped him in an episode in Arrow about a year back.
Right. I think in season 1 they mentioned, like, Bloodhaven, tiny references to, okay, there is a Gotham somewhere. But I was thinking, like, okay, well, if we're introducing Batwoman, I'm assuming this is probably on Supergirl's Earth. Like, that's what, because it was like, well, we haven't met Batman before. Well, maybe the reason we haven't met Batman is the same reason we haven't met Superman. There isn't one on Earth 1. It's all on Kara's Earth, where all the fun stuff is. But no, they were like, yeah, no, Gotham City's on Earth 1. Bruce Wayne, yeah, he's Batman. And I was like, oh, okay, because then it gets even weirder, because then Kara and...
they act like they're best friends.
Right, they're like, well, my cousin knows Bruce Wayne, but it's like, does he really though? He knows a version of Bruce Wayne, but not this Bruce Wayne, so it's like very kind of...
Right.
It was a little weird.
They're fast and loose with Kara in these crossovers. Like, no one knows who Supergirl is. You don't exist in this world. And everyone's like, oh, Supergirl, I'm like, no! And like how Batgirl's like, yeah, we would have made a good team, the world's finest. No, you wouldn't! You don't even know who you are!
Yeah, you guys didn't even do anything! Just like, you just showed up right there at the end and like, good job, everybody! Like, if you guys did something together, then it's like, okay, but you didn't, and yeah, it was very confused. It was very kind of like a muddled relationship where they tried saying, well, we're connected because our cousins know each other, so automatically we should probably know each other too.
Yeah, it was contrived.
But yeah, very much so.
Let's move on to, because we're getting kind of late here, let's move on to our third episode, this was the actual Supergirl episode, right?
Yes, so this one was the Supergirl portion.
Okay, so do you want to give us a brief rundown of what happened in part 3?
Yes. So, over the past two parts, there have been a mysterious red sky. There's been a mysterious red sky that's been kind of affecting Earth 1. It's revealed that it's a version of Barry Allen from Earth 90 who looks exactly like the John Wesley Shipp version of Barry Allen from the 90s Flash show. They team up to try to stop the evil Dr. Deegan. But Deegan has decided, you know what? I'm going full ham on rewriting this reality. Turns himself into an evil Superman, and basically rewrites the world to be in his favor. He now rules the world as Superman with an iron fist. Barry and Oliver no longer have switched lives, but are now depowered and are both criminals. And Kara is in a cell for a majority of this episode until we can figure out how to get the real Superman to set things right. Mm-hmm. Who will win? Who will lose in this Elseworlds crossover?
So, right away you mentioned that Barry Allen from the 90s TV show played by John Wesley Shipp makes an appearance. And when it was first revealed that he was going to be in this episode as his old character, I was like, that's awesome. I was wondering if they're ever going to do something like that. Thumbs up to the Arrowverse for having the balls to do that. Because it really opens up a lot of doors to all the other DC-related media projects that now anyone is fair game to come in.
Right. Your crazed child, Gotham, could, in theory, show up. Someone from that show could show up. Or even Tom Welling from Smallville could show up.
Yes. I see Tom Welling showing up before anything from Gotham, but that's another story.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. And even the teaser for the previous week's 3 shows teased John Wesley Shipp facing off against the Monitor before running away. Mm-hmm. So I thought, he's going to be a big part of this show. Maybe not until the end because, build up to it. And no, he's not.
Yep,
he's barely in it. It's like, I'm going to stop you, Monitor. Whoosh. Never to be seen again.
Yeah, and just into the ether.
I did like the Green Lantern reference that he had.
Yes, that was really cool because I remember reading from the Reddits that a lot of people were saying, well, maybe Diggle's real last name is like Stewart, and he's and he could be a Green Lantern eventually. So I like that they did call that out. They're like, John, you're not wearing your ring.
Which, as a complete side note, that would be interesting if they ever did have that sort of reveal, like, my real last name's Stewart. Because in Black Lightning, according to the comics, Black Lightning is married to, I can't think of her first name.
Lila?
Lynn? Is it Lynn? I don't know. Well, anyway, Black Lightning wife's maiden name is Stewart and is the sister to John Stewart, Green Lantern. So, if they ever do that reveal, I'd be curious to see how that would play out on something like Black Lightning, if they would ever want to reference that as well.
Diggle just shows up one day. Hey, this is my sister.
Right. I mean, that would be a mind trip if they decided to go that route. But
right. But also, walls. Let's do it. Yeah, I was very disappointed in how very little John Wesley Shipp was actually part of it, because I think that was the big image, the 4 of them sort of standing together, and it's like, oh, well, that was kind of pointless. I mean, it's cool that he can actually that he's still able to be in that costume, or that he's in that costume again. But it's like, I was expecting a little bit more.
Right. I got a theory on that, and we'll come back to that theory when we talk about what next year's proposed crossover is.
Yes.
So Oliver and Barry are biker gang members now.
Right.
And Cisco's a crime boss. And somehow, Supergirl's sister, I can't think of her name at the moment, Alex, is on Earth 1 somehow. Mm-hmm. Don't know. I guess she exists in this world in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
And is being controlled by evil Superman. Mm-hmm. This is a weird one. This is a weird part. Like, I wasn't sure where they were going with this.
Yeah, because because they've done this concept before, where it's like, hey, these characters? Well, they're switching roles. Because they've done that in The Flash when they've visited like Earth 3 or whatnot. But it's like, it's not necessarily okay, because we have Barry and Oliver are now criminals. And then Cisco's a crime boss. Okay, that makes sense. Good guys become bad. Even Jimmy Olsen's in there, which, I mean,
Jimmy
that's a
Olsen.
whole... Yeah, Cisco, when they try to go into Cisco...
Right. Yes, I forgot about that.
And they make a dumb reference, and you're like, yeah, I'm Superman's best pal. It's like, come on, guys, really?
So, does that mean Jimmy Olsen exists on Earth 1? Like, I wasn't sure, like, did he mess with both Earths to combine them or something? Or is it just the world?
It's kind of fuzzy.
Are these questions that don't need to be asked?
Probably, but we're going to ask them anyway.
We ask the hard-hitting questions here on the All-New Culture Cast.
Yeah. We don't take no for an answer. I think there is some sort of throwaway line. I can't remember it, but I think when Deegan as Evil Superman is talking to Kara, he mentioned some line of her not existing originally in this on that Earth. So I think there's so maybe he brought in elements from the other Earth.
Well, what was weird is they did have a crossover, not crossover. John Jones and Brainiac came over from Supergirl's Earth to the big climactic finish.
Yeah, which I will say, Megan actually walked in on that part when I was watching this the first time all those weeks ago, and she's like, "What the fuck is going on? Who are these characters?" I'm like, "Well, that's Martian Manhunter. That's Brainiac 5." So it was very tough to explain like who's two weird guys showing up out of a blue portal are, and Lois Lane with her Thor hammer. Which you're probably the bigger DC fan than me. Is that supposed to be something? I mean, I have no idea. Like, why does Lois Lane have a hammer?
It is. I think it's supposed to be a reference. There's a comic called All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison. It's a pretty good old-school Superman type tale. And there's a sequence in there where Superman is making something. And what he's doing is he's like pounding like a mini star. And in order for him to pound the mini star, he has a special hammer. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
I think that's what it was a reference to. I'd have to rewatch that, but that's the impression I got and some of the things I had read on the interwebs afterwards. So,
well, kind of also going off of that and kind of bring up something that we haven't addressed in any of the other parts of this crossover special. We actually have left out the biggest character of them all, or the big elephant in the room for all 3 episodes. The Monitor himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
He gave Deegan the book to test out the heroes. Apparently he's been doing this on multiple worlds, because even though there are 52, it was previously established that there are 52 Earths. Well, now there's 90 Earths at least. So that's interesting. But we're gonna ignore that for right now, because there's some big threat, Anti-Monitor, who's coming.
Yeah.
And he needs to test the worlds, and he's using this test. And he's kind of PO'd at Deegan because he's not doing what he is supposed to be doing with these tests. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, like, I caught your little cough there.
Yeah.
I know who what the Anti-Monitor is. Like, I'm aware of like what that character is, what that villain represents. But I'll be honest, I never heard of the Monitor. They said the Monitor's gonna be special. I'm like, who?
What kind of DC comic book fan are you?
Probably not a good one.
Go get an education. The biggest storyline, which is completely incomprehensible to someone who doesn't read you. Okay, we'll just jump to it. Next year, DC is the Arrowverse is going to do the big crossover. Next year is going to be Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is arguably the biggest story DC has ever done. The little backstory on that is that in the mid-'80s, DC wanted to do something for its 50th anniversary, as well as streamline all their comics to make it acceptable for new readers. So they basically rebooted their whole universe. And to have a capstone story, they created this Crisis on Infinite Earths, where all the different variations of the characters came together to fight a big crisis against this evil dude called the Anti-Monitor, and hilarity ensues. And the Monitor's role in that was, he was first depicted as a villain, thinking he's doing all these bad things to these characters. But in reality, it turned out that he was testing them to make sure he picked the right people to face off against this threat. So they're kind of sticking to the source character and what he's doing there. Can I just say, the Monitor looked BA in the crossover. He looked exactly like his comic book counterpart. So, it's amazing that this show that started off as Arrow, where they're like, oh, we can't do anything too crazy with superhero costume, is now balls to the wall with a character like the Monitor.
Right, with big like armor and a cape and everything, and the weird like hairstyle that only makes sense for when a comic book artist is drawing it. I absolutely will agree with you. It's amazing to watch the evolution of this entire world.
Yeah. So I guess Monitor's screwing around with a lot of things, and he agrees to help the heroes in the end because Oliver makes some crazy deal with him. I wonder what do you think that deal was?
Well, like I said, from what I know. Well, I mean, this is spoilers for what, a 30-year-old comic book storyline for Crisis. I'm assuming Arrow's been on for 7 years. I think he may have made a deal to like switch places. 'Cause I think in Crisis on Infinite Earths, spoilers, I guess. The big, there's a lot of characters were killed off. Supergirl dies, I believe, and
Yes.
and Barry Allen Flash, dies as well, or dies in context. I mean, he gets better.
Yeah.
But that was the big thing. Is those two characters were dying, and one part of this episode, they do kind of say, I think Superman's reading the book is like, hey, you two if you do that, you guys will die.
Yes.
Which is
nice little reference to it.
Yeah. So I believe the deal they made is possibly some sort of like, let me take their place in this whatever sort of coming disaster. So I'm assuming it's something along those lines.
I have a feeling that's what we're meant to believe. I don't think that will be the case for two major reasons. One, that'll mean that Arrow loses its main character in the middle of its season.
Right.
And two, it's too obvious. And three, Stephen Amell has loved the Arrow character too much that even after Arrow ends, I could see them keeping him around to pop up in the other shows here and there. I don't see him dying as being the thing. I'm guessing he's agreed to do something bad, like maybe he has to kill someone or do something. I don't know, but I think it's a bait and switch. If we can go back a second to pluck my little theory about what they were doing with 90s Flash.
Okay.
I think that was pure setup for the Crisis, where he'll have a larger role, more to do, and I betcha that he will be the Flash that dies in that crossover.
Oh, okay.
Because I got news for you. They're not going to kill off Grant Gustin. They're not going to kill off Melissa Benoist.
I thought it was Benoist.
We'll call that, sure. I don't know how to say people's names. I know, she and I are friends. I had a picture taken with her, so I know she listens to the show, so she can call in and say how her name is really pronounced. They're not going to kill off their two leads on their two other superhero shows.
No.
So that's not happening. But I could see them reference the death of the Flash with with John Wesley Shipp's character.
Right. Or if we're going to, I guess this kind of goes into our speculation for this for what's going to happen next year. Do you think they're going to we've talked, I guess, kind of joked about this before, but do you think they could actually bring back like the characters on Smallville, like Smallville Supergirl and Smallville Superman?
That's a great question. They may not,
because they had a lot of that was like the version of the Justice League for television.
Right. That's a great question. I don't know. I can't see them bringing in some side characters, like they had Martian Manhunter on that show. I think if they're going to want to get people, it's going to want to be people, people that will really tune in. Like I could see them bringing a dump truck full of money to Tom Welling to be Superman. Or at least try. I could see, even though he has a role on Supergirl, maybe try to get Dean Cain in to be Superman.
Yes.
I don't know. There are a lot of. I could see them finally bringing in Black Lightning in some way, shape, or form.
I can see that.
I wonder if one of the reasons they renewed all the TV shows was solely for this crossover.
If so, totally worth it, because that's been kind of like the one thing with a lot of these crossovers is each one sort of has done sort of like a superhero concept or a superhero's story that you can tell. Like, the first crossover was we're meeting up for the first time. Well, we got to fight each other and stop a bad guy. Mm-hmm. Second one, well, we got to stop an even eviler bad guy. I guess 1 and 2 are very pretty much the same concept, but 3, alien invasion, perfect. The fourth one that they did last year with there's a part
Crisis
of me that,
on Earth X.
Yes. There's a part of me that, looking back at it, I was like, there's a lot that I liked from that crossover because of the scope of it and stuff like that. But kind of in sort of preparing for this episode, I was like, man, it would have been cool if they just, instead of saying, hey, we're fighting Nazi versions of ourselves, if they just said we're fighting the crime syndicate, just full on, because
Oh,
we didn't even because we got Nazi Oliver and Nazi Kara, but we didn't get an evil Barry. We got Earth One Flat or Earth One
it was
Barthol
yeah. Um,
with
there
Tom Kavah's face.
they could I'm very curious what they'll do next season. If they do, like, that could be a very long and complicated story. I mean, given it's one of the Hallmark stories, whether you like it or not, it has a place in DC history.
Yeah.
That if they stretch this out to be like a 5 or 6 part miniseries within the different shows, I'm curious to see if they would bring what other characters they'll bring in, because Infinite Earths means Infinite Earths, and on this series we've really only explored 2 Earths. We acknowledge another Earth exists with heroes. Hey, maybe they'll bring the Smallville Green Arrow. I don't think they will, because Justin Hartley is on This Is Us, where
Oh,
makes you cry every episode apparently.
yeah,
So I don't think I could say, hey, Justin Hartley, you want to come back to the CW? He's gonna be like, yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
yeah.
I'm good.
I'm gonna enjoy my boatloads of NBC cash.
Yeah,
But
I'm on a real network now, so
well, no, I was just thinking about. So and maybe this will be a future episode if I have the time or energy. Possibly do a Titans recap. Have some of the people from that show.
I guess they could.
I mean, there's nothing stopping them. Have Nightwing and everyone else. But the one thing that I thought was fun that I just came up with, that I thought was funny in Smallville. So what? Okay, this is a quick aside. One of my favorite kind of like sort of like raunchy comedy TV shows is Blue Mountain State, with that has Alan Richardson as the character of Thad Castle, and he played Aquaman
Oh
in
yeah.
he played Aquaman in Smallville, and I think he's also in Titans as like a Hawk of like a Hawk and
Yeah,
Dove.
yeah.
So are they going to have Alan Richardson double team some roles? Have him be Aquaman, Hawk, and Thad Castle? I don't know.
They could. Hey, or you know what? They could bring back if they really want to give him, if they really want to give Justin Hartley money. He originally was cast as Aquaman when they were trying to make an Aquaman spin-off of Smallville, and it did not go anywhere. And so they liked the actor that they brought him on as Green Arrow onto Smallville.
So I think what we're getting at is so the next year is going to throw in the kitchen sink. We're just going to do everything.
They should. I mean, just let go balls to the wall crazy. One last comment on Justin Hartley. It's a shame that he has like a successful show now, because he's really the only other actor who's really played Green Arrow on live action that has not like appeared on Arrow in some way, shape, or form.
You think you think he's embarrassed? He's like, oh god, I was Green Arrow on Smallville.
I don't think. Well, I don't know, but I'm just surprised. As far as I know, they haven't reached out to him, and
Yeah.
I don't know, because like, those producers like to. I mean, they had on in Flash. They have on the guy who played Flash before, and and Supergirl. They had on the original Supergirl. So I don't know.
They had, yeah, a lot of the CW shows have made good references in terms of casting, which yeah, I will agree. Kind of with going, the fact that they did reference Smallville and like the Smallville TV show itself in this crossover. I mean, I think that means that they're open to it, like they're not against it. And I would definitely like to see if they were, because a lot of that I think is a I don't want to say time capsule, but it's like how superheroes were viewed, I guess, for television. And it'd be interesting to see, like, take some of those characters, some of those designs, and bring it into this sort of new, updated superhero environment where, like, superheroes are revered more, where they're more kind of like, we want to get more close to the comics, something like that.
Maybe they could bring back George Clooney as Batman.
Hey, anything's possible. I will say, the one other prediction I will have, and I think you'll probably agree with me, and I think for the sake of trying to, just like how the original Crisis on Infinite Earths led to a single Earth continuity, I mean, I think we can both agree probably the next crossover special might do something similar.
Oh, I hope they don't, other than as a one-off.
You don't think they're going to go balls to the wall and say, "Yep, Supergirl, you're now on one Earth. You're not leaving this Earth."
Because given the world set up in Supergirl, and given the world set up in the Earth 1 shows, it wouldn't work. I mean, they're. I hope they don't.
I mean, it's kind of. I mean, you're kind of opening. I mean, the creators themselves are kind of opening themselves up for that. I guess that comparison. I mean, that's what that original story for
Sure.
did in the comics.
Here, I bet you'll get a combination of a bunch of different things, but I bet there's going to be a part of it where the Earths are merged, and they have to find a way to unmerge them.
Okay.
I don't know. I just think that's. I think that would be a disservice to a bunch of different shows if they do that, because that significantly alters like the tone and everything from the earlier series. Like that means Superman's been around for all these years, and how come Flash never met up with Superman previously? And it just I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't.
The only thing I will give in support of this possibly being a thing, in the last crossover, when we again the cockroach of the Arrowverse, Reverse Flash, he does mention at one point when they're about to cut out Kara's heart. God, that's a dark sentence to say. Mm-hmm. But he does mention, I fought your cousin once in the future. He's fast, but I'm faster. So maybe, I mean, granted, they did show in this crossover, yeah, Superman can pop on over if he wants to, but could that be a reference that at some point in the future, Earths get merged? I don't know. Maybe.
I just took that as it's going to be a future crossover where Superman face off against the Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
I mean, Supergirl pops over every year for the crossover.
Or when they decide to, hey, do you want to have Supergirl and Flash's crossover just cause?
Right. I liked slightly off topic, but we were talking about like the crossover. I like how Legends referenced the crossover in two ways, or the crossover was acknowledged with Legends in two ways. One, in the Legend, what would have been the Legends episode for the crossover, like the 8th episode of the season, they jump on the ship, and the ship's like, oh, we've gotten multiple calls from Kara Zor-El looking for help. And I think Nate's like, oh, it sounds like it's this year's crossover. Tell them we're sitting out.
Yeah.
And then of all the Legend characters to pop up in the crossover, Gary shows up in the bar.
And he gets some, I don't want to say it's a force line, but he gets a line where it's like, you guys are legends to me. I'm like, yeah. Right, Gary.
If it was any other character, I'd be like, that's dumb. But Gary's allowed to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Give Gary his own show.
There you I will say that, side note, because it's not officially a part of the Elseworlds crossover, I don't think we really have the time or the energy to talk about it, but I will say the Legends episode that was, where they basically dealt with multiple different realities because of changing timelines, I really liked, especially because they were like the different cheesy 80s, like TV show intros.
Now, Legends is a show that doesn't give a crap anymore. Like, we're going to do this now. Deal with it.
Yeah, Legends is like a more refined. It's a more refined crazy. It's kind of like a fine. It's like a fine craft beer. You have to just enjoy the aromas and go for the ride.
I'm not going to lie though. When I first heard that they said even though Legends is not going to be a part of this crossover, we do have a cameo by a Legends member. And honestly, my first thought was, well, they brought back John Wesley Shipp as Flash, so they're doing different things with realities. Could they have Brandon Routh dressed as Superman? Could they really do that? And my curiosity was like, could it be? And it wasn't, obviously, which I'm okay with what they did, but I'm not gonna lie, my mind immediately went there. I'm like, could do this. But
I didn't even think about that. I guess I shouldn't say I didn't think about it, but I do forget that sometimes I was Superman at one point. Mm-hmm. If they do not take advantage of that for Crisis on Infinite Earth, they are.
Yeah, they in the one previous crossover when Brandon Routh met Kara for the first time, there was a slight reference to it where he's like, "She reminds me of my cousin" or something like that.
Yeah, she looks exactly like my cousin.
Which I applauded when he said, like, "Thank you. You've
Yeah,
acknowledged it. I was waiting all 4 episodes, or however long that crossover was. I can't remember. For them to like, come on, you have to have a scene of them together and do a like wink at the camera thing.
right.
And I was not disappointed.
Yes, they knew what they gave the people exactly what they wanted.
It gave
Uh,
me what I wanted, and that's all that
yeah,
matters.
yeah. I will say your idea of having like all the Superman actors that they have access to show up for Infinite Earths would be pretty. I'm not gonna lie. I think it would probably make a lot of people go lose their minds.
I mean, it'd be curious. I'm trying to think of other DC shows, live action shows that they could cross over with. And honestly, there are surprisingly very few past DC shows that were live action. I guess they could get Burt Ward to get in the tights as Robin again. Jim Lee Jillikers. No, that was
He
that
was
was
like,
Fall
"What
Out
are you
Boy.
people doing here?"
Um, I'm
Wasn't there a
78
Birds
years
of
old. I'm still in tights.
Yeah,
Um,
Mr. Ward, please.
it's like we actually just found him on the set. We didn't invite him. He's just here.
You just showed up like this.
So like I don't know. I mean, unless they reach out to the movies, but again, you had I don't see any of the actors in any of the recent DC
Yeah,
films popping up. Maybe Jason Momoa because he's the type of guy who strikes me as like, yeah, I'll do that. That sounds like fun. But
yeah.
I don't.
He's got a history with television, so I can see that
Yeah,
happening.
but again, I think he's also too in demand, so I don't see him having any major thing. And also, I could also see DC saying, like, let's keep our movies separate from the show, at least the modern stuff.
Right.
Um, I Christian Bale is not showing up. I can guarantee you
No.
that. Um, uh, I any of the other actors are too big name to like pop up in one of these things. So like, I don't know.
Wasn't there? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Wasn't
No.
there like a back in the 2000s? Wasn't there like a crappy Birds of Prey TV show?
There was, but no one remembers that. Same thing when they had like the Justice League pilot from the 90s. No one saw that.
Get them
Um,
back. Find those guys. I'm sure they're working at your local Denny's right now.
right.
Tell them, hey, we need you back in tights. Come on, we're doing it, people. We're finally making it happen.
I mean, I guess this could be also an opportunity to like just introduce different versions of the characters we haven't seen before. Like I said, the Crime Syndicate one. But I don't know. It's very exciting and very intriguing how they're going to pull this off because they could easily fall on their face with this, or they can have a home run. So
Right, because I do feel like my general sentiments overall with the Elseworlds is like last year definitely was like, oh man, is this like they're building up and up. This one in many ways felt like a little bit of a step back, but it was more refined in what it's trying to do, and the fact that it's basically saying yes, we're finally doing Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think definitely does get me as as a fanboy excited to see what that looks like.
mm-hmm.
It is surprising that given all the money and time and talent thrown at the movies, at all the DC movies that we've gotten over the past couple of years, that it took the TV show in the same amount of time that the TV show's on. We've adapted several major like comic book storylines for each of these characters,
well,
and now we're doing the big one.
well, that's the thing with the TV series though. You have like 22 episodes a season for each show to do a lot of this stuff. You have like 2 hours every 2 or 3 years to do the same thing in a movie. So, I'm not gonna
I
be
guess.
too worked up over it.
I guess the point that I'm just trying to get at is just like in comparing these two sort of mediums. That I'm more surprised that it's like, okay, we're going to do Crisis on Infinite Earth through the television series, and I think,
Right.
and I guess that's just kind of.
I
I
mean,
mean, it definitely.
nothing's
Oh,
stopping them to do down the line a crisis type movie event if depending on I don't think Warner Brothers knows what to do with its DC
no.
film slate. If they ever do more crossing over with one another and they say, all right, we're riding the ship. I mean, they could do a DC crossover film where they could probably get better access or be able to get people from the other DC films to pop in. Like I see Christian Bale popping in a future Justice League in a cameo than I do him ever appearing in a CW show. Um,
Right.
Maybe they'll just use archive footage. Who knows? But
Yeah.
it'd be like the
Yeah.
old Conan O'Brien bit where he superimposes lips over like a still image.
Yeah.
And like it's clearly not the right thing. It's like, I'm Batman. I'm gonna save the day.
Hey, you might be careful now. You might be giving the CW writers an idea.
You never know. It might also be an opportunity for them to introduce more characters in the CW world. Because if you remember on Legends, they acknowledge that Themyscira exists. So they can introduce a Wonder Woman on the CW.
Well, and again, I'll have to binge this eventually. I think on the Titans TV show on their DC's whatever it's called, DC Universe, I don't care, but I think they actually have Donna Troy on that.
Okay, well, I mean, so we got that on there. So they could cross over with Titans. I think Titans is made by the same people. It's just its own
entity
because they wanted it for the DC streaming service. But yeah, I guess they could. I mean, it would be good crossover for the DC streaming service. So people are like, I want to see more of these Titans.
Exactly.
I'll admit I haven't seen the show. I don't have the energy to purchase a streaming and not until they have more content. But
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm like, honestly, what I'm waiting for, I think they have like get your 7-day free trial. I'm gonna be like, okay, once enough of these shows are out, I'm just gonna take a nice long weekend, binge through them, and then cancel immediately.
Right. It's kind of like what I did with Star Trek Discovery. I waited till the whole season was over, and then I got the week trial or month trial. I can't remember what it was, but I binged through the 16 episodes and like, all right, cancel. I'm done before I actually was charged.
Yeah.
I won't be able to do that for season 2, unfortunately, because they keep track on. Hey, you already did this with us. You can't do this again.
Well, use a different email.
Yeah, I guess so. They might recognize the credit card, but anyway, I digress. So a lot of interesting things that they can do. I'd be curious to see. I'm sure once summer hits, we'll start getting hints of what they're planning on doing. I think it's ballsy that they announced what the crossover is, so they must have some idea that they're excited about to start getting the excitement going now.
Right, get on that hype train, people. Yes, I mean, I'm definitely aboard. I will say, if after this, I mean, I don't know what else you do for a crossover.
Well, let's see what they do first. It might be like, oh, there's nowhere to go but up after this. So,
right.
No, but let's go back. Let's wrap this up here. Let's go back. Our final concluding thoughts on Elseworlds here, because it's getting super late for me. I was hoping we'd be done an hour ago, but I liked overall Elseworlds, but I do think it was very messy of a crossover. I think a lot of it felt disjointed, which maybe that was the intention. I thought they hyped up certain elements that didn't play into it as much as the way they hyped it, such as Batwoman and to an extent the 90s Flash. I am curious. It's clearly this 3-episode was meant to be set up for their next event, so they took a page out of the Marvel playbook, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do with it. So those are my final thoughts. Cuz, what about you?
Yeah, I definitely will say. This crossover probably is, out of all crossovers that you've done so far, of all 5 of them, I still liked, like, my biggest point with Crisis on Earth X is that one was a bit long. This one I do feel like was definitely felt a lot quicker. Like stuff just happened, like bam, bam, bam. So there's a lot that I really did like from this. I do agree there were some disjointed elements, but overall, I think this is probably, out of all the crossovers, I think this is probably like my top 3 out of the 5 are probably going to be the first crossover that they did between the 2 shows, Crisis on Earth X, and then probably this one is going to follow it up as kind of like number 3, because it's just kind of, it did a lot of things that did right. It did really right. A lot of stuff that didn't do, or unfortunately the CW isms where it's like from like, oh, fun superhero links and doing stupid decisions. It's like, why? That was the other thing that plagued all 3 episodes. Just like you'd get this fun superhero action or these great bits where these actors are working off each other, and then you'd have a scene where I'm sad. I'm going to sit in a chair. Hey, can I talk to you while I sit in a chair? And it's like, whatever. But it's like, that's kind of like, it's kind of like the downside that you have to sort of accept. But I will say, I love what they did. I, am very much looking forward to what they're going to do next year. And yeah, that's kind of it. Hopefully Batwoman, if and when that comes out, is a good show too, or at least has a really good first season. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I guess we'll find out soon enough what the story officially will be with that. So here's to the 2019 season. I will just end this here by saying that this is just announced that Warner Brothers is releasing another DC superhero movie, and I'm not making this up. It is the DC Super Pets, the movie.
You're making that up.
I am not. This is a thing that they're actually doing that'll feature Crypto, probably Ace the Bat Hound, Beppo the Super Monkey, so on and so forth. I will say that this is meant to be an animated film, not a live action. So,
well, I mean, I could see like a Homeward Bound, but with superhero pets.
I would give, if DC did a live action version of that, I would give them thumbs up. I'm guessing this is in response to how well Into the Spider-Verse is doing. So DC's like, what do we have that can be kind of weird and unusual but still work? So there you go. So all right. On that note, let's wrap this turd up. And I'm Nick.
I'm Cousin Charles.
And this has been the all-new Culture Cast, very first 4.5-hour episode. It's like you actually watched the crossover. We'll talk to you next week, everyone. Bye-bye. You've been listening to the all-new Culture Cast, where every episode is all new. Check out new episodes and our back catalog at allnewculturecast.libsyn.com. We could also be found on iTunes. The all-new Culture Cast, a saltwater production, copyright 2019. Thanks for listening. Shove a couple computers in your pants.